Hi everybody, it's Editing Sarah. I'm doing really well about recording these and then not having time to actually edit and post them until the Sunday after. So I'm a couple of days late again between when I recorded and when I am posting, but I hope you enjoy. Hi everybody, today is March 7th, 2025. My name is Sarah and I'm the Attic Stitcher, and this is Flosstube number 3. So if you're a returning viewer, thanks for coming back and joining me. I'm excited to get to show you all of my stitching progress over the past 2 weeks. If you're new here, welcome. Glad you're spending some of your stitching time with me today. The cats are active, so who knows, they might make an appearance. Well, I don't know. It's their house. I just live in here. For those of you who don't know, I have 3 cats. Their names are Brother, Sister, and Kitten is her full name, but we call her Kit most of the time. And like I said, they rule the roost. I just live here with them. You get wet-haired Sarah today. Well, it's kind of dried a bit, but I'm like a little cramped for time right now because I worked this morning and then I had to come home, take a shower, eat my lunch, and now I'm recording Flosstube so I can take it with me and this evening record it or edit it because I'm going out of town with my sister for the weekend. So I've still got to pack and do some stuff to get the house ready for the weekend while I'm gone and all of that fun stuff. So I'm going to try and get through this without talking too much and just get right into it. I have no new finishes, and I don't have any finished objects to show, but I do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of my 8 work in progresses to show you today. I have found that having a floss tube motivates me to work on more than one project at a time. I have more than one project going at a time, but I apparently would hyper focus on one in particular and work on it for a while and then switch over to whichever one caught my fancy and stuff. So yeah, I have found that I'm more motivated to pick up different ones throughout the week rather than stitching on one throughout the week because I want to make progress to be able to show you all stuff. So that's been nice. And it's not like a stressful, oh, I need to pick up everything and stitch on it. It's a fun, oh, I want to show them this one, so I want to stitch on it kind of deal. So I have them stacked up. I'm just going to get right into it since I'm a little short on time today and start going through it, and we'll see how it goes. So WIP number 1 is Poppies for Dad. This is my memorial piece that I'm stitching in honor of my dad who passed away unexpectedly in December last year. And here is a picture of where I was. I spent quite a bit of my time working on the poppies, and then I stitched like, I think 1 or half of a line of the quote. So that's where I was, and here is where I'm at now. So I completely finished this second poppy and have started coming down and working on the 3rd big poppy. Kit just laid down on the leg of my tripod, so if you saw shaking, it was a Kit attack. Hi. So, and then like I mentioned, I did about half of a line of the quote. So, but I really am loving how the poppy is coming out. Right? And I'm really, really glad I switched out. So this lighter red orange is one I subbed in because as I was stitching this first poppy here, the light color blended in was so similar to the mid-tone that you just couldn't tell any difference between them as I was stitching. So I went through my stash and found a lighter orangey red that I think worked really well, and I'm loving how that poppy has come out. I was kind of thinking I might end up having to do some back stitching, but after stitching that poppy, I don't think I'm going to end up having to do any back stitching. So, but a little closer look at what I've done. Like I said, I finished the center area of this poppy that I had, and then I've come down and started working on this poppy here. I went and did like half of the crosses, and then I haven't gone back in to finish them out. So they're like half done stitches, but I'm really, really loving how it's turning out. And I'm excited to finish it and get it framed. So it's now a case of looking out for the perfect frame to put it in. So that's WIP number 1, Poppies for Dad. I'm stitching that on a 28 count sand Lugana with all of the called for DMC, except for I subbed one out, and I'll put that on the screen here for you to see. Like I said, I subbed out what was supposed to be the lighter color for a different red to have a little bit more of a contrast between it and the mid-tone. Okay, next, which I'm realizing that I was in such a rush to set up that hold on. Oh, I've got it right here. A little, these are my project bags. They're just Ziploc bags I reuse. So the next one that I got to work on was this Thomas Jefferson's book quote. It's a cross stitch kit that I got when me and my friend went on a trip to the Virginia area, historic triangle area. And it's designed by Barbara Bangser for the Posy collection. She does have a website, and it links out. She has designed apparently quite a few different kits to be for sale at different historical, like, state park landmark places and stuff. So she's got some cute stuff online and all of that. But here's a little information on the pattern. There, that pattern. So it says, this quotation reflects Mr. Jefferson's love of books. The Chinese railing design is taken from the wooden railings of Monticello. The design may have been inspired by Thomas Chippendale's pattern book, The Gentleman and Cabinet Maker's Director, which Mr. Jefferson owned. The book quotation is from a letter written by Jefferson to John Adams dated June 10th, 1815. So if you couldn't tell, I love books. I actually, for any of you who keep up with Brandon Sanderson, my leather bound of Words of Radiance came in yesterday. It's so pretty. So anyway, I'm very excited for that. I've read the first 3 of Brandon Sanderson's books. I have not read these 2 yet. And I need to really bad. But anyways, I love books. So that's why I grabbed this one, because it says I cannot live without books. And it's very true. But anyway, so here's the here's where I was. This is one that I try to take with me when I go to visit my grandmother and sit with her and visit with her, because it's such a simple, I can pick it up, grab it, and it's not, there's not really any color changes and all of that. Once I pick a section, I can work on that section and I don't have to change colors. So it's just an easy one for me to be able to take and stitch while visiting with my grandma, and she gets a lot of joy out of that. So, but here is where I'm at. So I did a center top start, and what I worked on was coming out and doing the border. So this is as far out as it will go, and I was coming out and doing this bottom and getting the different divisions for the border marked out, because doing the center of the borders is fun. And so I want to get the less fun stitching out of the way, which is creating the boundaries, so that way I can focus on enjoying the patterned parts. So I had a lot of fun just getting some bigger progress, because I'd only had like that much stitched, and so now I've done all of that. So I think I'm actually going to take this one on my road trip with me, because it's a paper pattern. So again, it's just a quick, easy, I can grab it and I can work on it very easily. So that way whenever we're sitting in our Airbnb tonight, I have something to do while we maybe watch an anime or something, because we're going to a convention. So anyway, so that's WIP number 2. So WIP number 3, in my last Flosstube I mentioned how one of my goals this year is I want to finish the first project I started when I started cross-stitching regularly, which is cats and flower hats. And Teresa Kellogg, I think I got that right. So that's one of my goals, is to get that finished this year, because I've had it going for 2 years now, and I don't really want to keep it going for 3 because I really shouldn't have it going for that long. It's one that I should have really honestly finished already, but so at first I was thinking I was going to do like what Sarah from Sarah's Stitchy Spot does and do 2 threads a day on it. So fill my needle twice, so thread my needle, stitch that length of thread, thread my needle again, stitch that length of thread, and do that daily. That's what I thought I was going to try to do, so that way I could finish this project before the year is over, but that just does not work with my lifestyle. I'm too busy with work and then other things that I do. So then I decided, well, at the start of every week, whatever night is my first night to sit down and cross stitch, I'm going to spend that evening stitching on cats and flower hats, or floral hats. I think it's floral hats. So that was my goal. So it meant that there would be 2 evenings over this course of these 2 weeks between Flosstubes that I would sit down and stitch on cats and floral hats. And I accomplished that. And I actually think that that method is going to work really well for me. It's just whatever night is my first night of the week between Sunday and Saturday to sit down and cross stitch, I'm going to stitch that first evening on this piece. So this is where I was at before, and then after 2 evenings of working on this, and actually it's probably more of like 1.5, because the second week, so this past Sunday when I sat down and started stitching, I stitched on some other projects before I remembered that I was wanting to stitch on cats and floral hats for my first piece of the week every week. So then I had to grab it and do some work the rest of the evening on it. So it's probably just really 1.5 evenings work for me. But here is where I'm at now. So I am almost completely done with this gold like bow. I think it's a bow. It's not a rose, but I think it's a bow. So I'm almost completely done with this, and then I've come in and started stitching the brim of the hat. And then there's some more of these pink flowers and this little bit of blue flower that I need to finish up, and then finishing up the cat face. So for 2 evenings, after hardly working on it at all over the past year, I'm very, 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 very pleased with my progress on that. So again, it'll be the same goal that I have, and I'll talk about that whenever I discuss my plans. But yeah, there's where I'm at, and I think it's looking great. I'm very, very, very happy to have made that much progress on it. Okay, so my next piece, so 2 more pieces. My next one is Winter Queen by Mirabilia Designs. And this is where I was at before. Previously, I had taken it and found the full width of it. And so since then, over this past week, I have made this much progress on her. So here she's big. She's a big lady. I'm stitching her on a 28 count Gothic Lugana, 2/2, and she was just too big for me to be able to hold up easily to show you all. So I've primarily over the past 2 weeks focused in on this part of her and filling in the blue of her dress. So I've been filling that in, and the shading on Mirabilias are so pretty. It's been a lot of fun to watch this come in, to see, you know, her sitting and seeing that come in, and then the folds of the dresses and stuff. So, oh my gosh. It's a lot of block stitching right now because all I have left to do is her dress and then the beading and stuff. But, oh gosh, she's just so pretty, and I'm very, very excited to keep working on her. So now I'll just keep making my way down and see how long she'll end up being, how much she'll actually take up of this fabric. But my goal, once I finish her, I want to try and finish her this year. So that way I don't have 2 birthday starts, because I started her for my birthday in 2024. So I don't really want to have 2 years of birthday starts going by the time my birthday month comes next year. I'm a January baby. So I want to try finish her up before January. So that way I can start a birthday start in January and not be like, oh, now I have 3 birthday starts. I don't really want to have 3 birthday starts. So that was Mirabilia Winter Queen. Again, 2/2 on a 28 count Gothic Glugon, and with all of the called for DMCs. Yay. All right, last whip. This is the one I was working on last night, so it's still in the Q-snap and stuff. But that is my Rapunzel from Make It Pink Designs. And this is where I was at before. I've been focusing in on completing her flower crown, and then also making sure that I try to do a thread length of 1/1 skin every time I sit down to work on her. And I only worked on her 2 nights over the past 2 weeks, excuse me, and I only actually did 1 night's worth of 1/1 stitching. So there's a lot of skin, and I just need to make sure that I do that every time I sit down, because otherwise the skin's going to be till the end, and I don't want to do 1/1 skin as the end of the project. So that's where I was at before, and here's where I am at now. Ooh, excuse me. So I finished up the light pink in her flower crown, and then I did these kind of red-brown pieces in the flower crown, and then last night I finished up by doing this bright red pink flower. There's a little bit more that'll come up in here, but now I get a fun, because there's like a little bit of color here and then a little bit of a different color there, so there's a lot of like just little sections of different colors that form the flower crown. So and then I've worked on the 1/1 skin, and so I just have this part of her face, and then I actually am missing a couple of thread colors, so I have to go to the store and get those, so that way I can do the shadow color and then bring down her neck and do her neck and bodice with the skin. But I'm thinking when I sit back down, I'm getting so close to being done with all of the flower crown that I think that's going to be my goal by the next time I come back, is to finish the flower crown. But anyway, she's pretty. I love her. She's big. She's gonna, I think, be even bigger. She's gonna be even bigger, I think, than my Winter Queen. But I'm very excited for her. Rapunzel's my favorite Disney princess. And yeah. So those were all of my whips. I don't have any haul. I don't usually buy anything until I actually need it. So plans. I'm going to continue with my first evening of the week stitching on cats and floral hats. I think it would be great if next time I can have the hat of this cat completely finished, and starting in on the cat, and I might stretch myself to try and finish the entire cat. Don't know. We'll see how well I progress. But for sure, I want to finish the hat by the time I come back. And then I would like to finish Rapunzel's flower crown by the time I come back. So those are my plans. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to share. I don't think so. The cats were actually kind of well behaved. Kit kind of played a little bit. You might have heard her. But she's now tuckered herself out and is napping on the floor. And the others, I think, are curled up napping. So, anyway. Well, I'm going to get off of here so I can pack up and go on my trip. And thanks for spending some time with me, and I will see you all next time. Have a great time stitching.